I call the member for Forrest.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. There's no question about the value of a trade or vocational education, and given the problems with both worker and skill shortages in Australia, the government should be supporting and respecting both state government TAFE and private providers to meet the shortages of appropriately skilled workers that are so desperately needed. In spite of the claims made in this motion, Jobs and Skills Australia advice clearly shows the number of Australians taking up new training has declined by 37.4%, in spite of the new National Skills Agreement by Labor. According to those opposite the Labor government's TAFE proposal was promising a revolution in Australian skills. Well, we actually see the opposite. There's a devolution in the take-up of Australian skills. In spite of the government's much-vaunted 5-year agreement with the states, it actually comes off the back of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, where the government couldn't even get the Victorian Labor government to sign on to it at all. As well, the Albanese government has been spruiking the TAFE Centres of Excellence as a key component of the skills commitment, with $325 million over 5 years to be invested federally. The centres, in the words of the government, will strengthen the collaboration between TAFE's unis and industries and higher apprenticeship qualifications. Well, South Regional TAFE in my electorate that offers business development services, which is an industry-focused unit providing services to local businesses already. Or where will the Centres of Excellence be in WA, and how will this impact on the business development services already being provided by that TAFE? Equally, if the government bothered to meet with the private RTOs around the country, they would be well aware that many of the benefits that these Centres of Excellence are intending to provide are already being delivered by the private vet sector as well. I met a range of RTOs currently that are doing much of the heavy lifting, and they feel as though they've been abandoned by the Labor government at a critical time of skills shortages, when all they're seeking is a level playing field. They have an important role to play in training and skills development and a choice for those seeking that training. Data compiled by the Independent Tertiary Education Council of Australia has found that not only do independent skills provider courses have significantly higher completion rates, and that will be the key to what the government is doing here, the completion rates, they do so with higher satisfaction rates amongst the students themselves. So the number of Australians taking up skills training is in free fall under the Albanese government, and trade apprentices in training hit record highs in the final months of the coalition government. And as of June 2022, there were over 415,240 apprentices and trainees in training, which was 21% higher than at the same time in 2021. Under Labor, this number has now fallen to 387,505. And we do see those skills shortages in industries right across the country. And I see and hear of this shortage every single day in my electorate in the southwest of Western Australia. We should have apprentices lining up to take up the amazing opportunities a trade provides them. The latest data demonstrates that while the Prime Minister talks a big game on skills, he just isn't delivering. In fact, he's overseen an almost 40% decline in new training starts in his first year alone. And the skills shortages have worsened, as I've said. And there are 36% of occupations assessed that actually had higher than on the 2022, 5% higher than on the 2022 skills priority list. Now, I support students getting the best education and training they possibly can, and training that meets the career choices that they have. But we do need to see the benefits of what the government is spending, and I really am concerned that the TAFE certificate completion rates are actually well below their private RTO counterparts. In Certificate 1s, there's a 16% discrepancy, and what we can't afford is taxpayers' funding being wasted or going down the drain, without completion, without qualification, and no benefit to the individual, to the businesses that desperately need skilled and trained workers, and no benefit to the broader economy and to productivity. Every single bit of public funding needs to be effective, particularly when we see such skill shortages and we see productivity continuing in freefall, now down 6.6%.
Thank the member.